Hey, we're live. We're a giant green screen. I used up all my fucking StreamYard for like a month a couple nights ago. As it turns out, you shouldn't go on drunken rants creating new religions. People get the wrong idea. Anyway, I am feeling more like myself today and able to do this. Like, I don't know, I had a weird week. 1 second, let me eat this. How are you guys? Someone's watching now. I used up all my StreamYard for like a month in a couple of days filming crazy ass bullshit, starting a new religion cult that was going to probably get me thrown in federal prison. So I decided to nix those videos. Yeah, I had green tape to put over the camera. I don't want to be on camera right now. Yeah, I don't know what was up. It was like I think there was some sort of like planetary alignment or something going on in the universe last week that like I don't know. I knew a bunch of people who were crazy and they got crazier for some reason, and I don't know why. Weren't those lives epic? I thought they were epic. Like a little too epic to leave up, kind of spicy. See, my thing is, I want to start a religion that makes the tenets of its religion not paying taxes, owning machine guns that the federal government doesn't know about, and then I don't know. We'll keep coming up with cool shit. Is my point. Like we could seriously start a religion, like especially Texas and Oklahoma. We could sell this church. All we need to do is make sure that we worship Jesus and we talk a little bit like this, and you could sell all of Texas to worship the new God that Ray Ray has created. Hallelujah. It's my southern preacher voice. I'm just kind of fed the fuck up with the federal government, to be honest. I think that Texas and Oklahoma and many other states should be free of them. And like, if that's dangerous thoughts now, then that's dangerous thoughts now to some extent. I'm now a political channel pushing for the secession of Texas, I guess. Is that against the law? I don't know. I don't really care. Like, this is where I'm at with it. Where I'm at with a lot of things, really. Like, this is why the camo van. Like, I really want to get fucking Starlink and get the van set up and go fucking submarine camping, which is my own little thing I've thought up. Talk about that in a minute, but go submarine camping and fucking broadcast from the wilderness so they can't fucking find me. So submarine camping is where you take a fucking van and load it like they load a submarine going out under the ice pack and drive out in the middle of nowhere and set up a solar array and a fucking satellite uplink and you just stay out there for as long as you fucking can. See what the comments. OD green screen, brilliant. Yeah, I kind of like it. I think that's gonna stay. That is frog tape made from actual frogs. Oh, I worked on a black powder revolver last night, and that thing is fucking sexy now. I should just open a business doing that. You can see pictures of that on Discord or Instagram, but I have been doing a patina over the whole gun for like the last 2 months. And I was doing that by piling some black powder on it and igniting it and then kind of rubbing it all over with some oil and just leaving it like that. And I did that, I don't know, a dozen times. And then I went through with cold blue, and having the patina on it affects what the cold blue does to the metal, and it makes it age. That's really what cold blue is doing, in my opinion. It's artificially aging the metal, and it kind of hides bad spots or whatever. But when you use it on a gun like this, where it's a modern gun that you've done shit to, it just like highlights all the bad shit about it, and it makes it look 1,000 years old. I like making shit like that. I'm trying to get a job in movie props right now. I think that might actually pan out. There's a lot of movies shooting in and around Tulsa right now. What are you guys up to besides stopping wrong think? You guys are gay. Just doing like cowboy emojis back and forth at each other. I'm smoking up right now too. All you guys can probably already tell that. I'm going to have to make sure that I stay within the bounds of the law while driving my van. That's probably a good thing. It'll make me drive more carefully. I saw someone driving an identical van that was also missing a bumper, and I just was like, "Nah, we can't have that." To the range yesterday, I was doing a bunch of cleaning. Yeah, I had to clean some guns the other day too. When I did the 4th of July video, I set off those firecrackers on top of a flag, on top of a collection of guns, and I didn't think about that being black powder in the fireworks until after I'd already set it off. Was in the middle of the video and went, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna have to clean these guns." So that was fun. Oh, I like doing the finishes on those cowboy guns. It's very freeing compared to modern guns because I'm used to blacksmithing and knife making, and really black powder guns aren't that far away from knife making. The first people that made those kind of things were sword makers, probably crossbow makers, those kind of people. I'd love to get into that, but that seems like an awful lot of hand tools. Do you think people would pay for a black powder revolver that had been tuned up and refinished and all that shit? That's the thing I keep wondering about is, I did all this to this revolver for me, but like if I threw that on Gunbroker and started just putting a couple of ones of those a month on Gunbroker, if people would fucking pay out the ass for those things. I think it'd be one of those slow to start, but if it ever caught on or whatever, you ever got like if Turnbull bought one of your guns and didn't do anything to it or some shit like that, like it'd be one of those. It could be feast or famine. My thing with the black powder gun is it's every bit as good as a Colt single action army that takes cartridges, provided that you know how to run it and run it correctly. It's slow on the reload, but it has things that offset that. Like you can resupply it longer. So it's not like, oh, that's the best revolver ever. No, it's like I think the revolver that I bought is the peak technology of cap and ball. And I wanted something that could shoot cap and ball because I see the advantage of it, basically. And I think if you're going to do that, one of those Colt clone revolvers is about as good as you're going to get. The black powder technology kind of stopped evolving a long time ago. And like it's not like, oh, that's the most practical gun ever, but like here's why I have it. My plan is to have a 1911 and that and some other pistols, right? But with the 1911, that does pretty much everything I need a gun to do, and it's shooting 45 auto. What if there is no more 45 auto? Well, then I'll just use one of the 9mm guns. What if there's no more cartridges, period? Well, that's where this gun comes in. And it's like, hey, there are no more cartridges. Everybody's using swords and shit. And now I have a magical thing on my belt that can kill 5 people in a row. It's planning for 30 years in the future, I guess. But it's one of those like, I've always thought those guns were cool because it's like Wild Bill Hickok used that gun. you know, shit like that. It's like a cowboy thing. It's not for everybody. Yeah. Right now it's hard as fuck to find percussion caps. I bought a couple hundred of them before everything started, and I have a source that I can get as many as I want. I think still, but I need to go check that out. I heard Cutlery Lover bitching about not being able to find percussion caps. You can actually make percussion caps too out of pop cans, and you make mercury fulminate, which there's several ways to get that, but the easiest, cheapest way is those roll caps that you had as a kid. You can cut the little black dot off of that and put it into a cup made of a pop can. And if you put 3 of them in there, it's got like a 75% ignition rate, something like that. So it's not the most reliable cap in the world, but it does work. As far as primers for like regular cartridges, you're just fucking shit out of luck on that stuff. I went to buy Slick Shot nipples and a couple other things from them, and their whole site is out of stock. They I guess are out of business or something. I think that's going to be a thing throughout the industry now. Like there was a massive slowdown in gun buying. Like it's going to hurt. Yeah, I'm going to convert my single shot 12 gauge to a muzzle loader eventually. I don't have that right now. It's with my buddy, but Dave Canterbury has a whole series on that. If you really just want to play around with a muzzle loader, that's probably the easiest, cheapest thing to do is to get some single shot 12 gauge and adapt it. I just want to always be able to shoot. That's kind of my thing. Like the Pieta black powder revolver I bought, I paid like 3 and a quarter for. And it's one of those like I can't believe that those guns sell for that. The only reason that gun sells that cheap is because it's a fucking black powder gun. Same gun taking cartridges cost $300 more for no reason at all. So, guy that comments says that using black powder sucks, but using a bow sucks more. I'm gonna eventually do a whole series on making bows too, but that's probably way down the road. I found the first weapon I ever made the other day. It's a bow I made out of a tree in my backyard. Yeah, Arc White Mage says they make a 45 long Colt conversion cylinder for cap and ball revolvers. They do. Um, Depends on exactly what you're looking for or whatever, but like they didn't make one for mine that I liked. And I bought that gun to do cap and ball, not cartridges. I think if I was wanting a gun to do cartridges and black powder, I don't think I would pick one of the conversions. I think I would get the Schofield if you have tons of money, and if you don't have tons of money, just the Colt single action. Like you can get a Colt Peacemaker clone from Uberti for what, $400, and then you can load your own cartridges with black powder. But then you need percussion caps, which I mean not percussion caps. You need primers then for pistols, which gets you all the way back to now we're reloading. And I don't know. I just like the idea of having at least one gun that's cap and ball. That and having that gun with the 1911 and now the M17. It's like I have a little timeline of fucking handguns. I just need a Beretta now. How would shit at the fan be any different than living in the Paleolithic era? At worst, we'd have to live like in the 1700s. That's my point, guy that comments. Like, shit will sort itself out. There'll be some people rioting and whatever, but eventually, when things settle down, it'll be like 1700s, like you're saying. That's kind of what I'm preparing for. And as far as the weapons and stuff, that's mainly a things could go sideways during that little transition period. And maybe it isn't like the 1700s. Maybe we go into some crazy ass future where we're all in camps. That's what the guns are for. And like, I don't even think that's crazy to think about anymore. I think there's some shit going on in the world that like I can't even fucking explain. Like, why is Joe Biden on a fucking trip to the Middle East right now? And what was up with the Georgia Guidestones getting blown up? Anyone else see that shit? Like, I thought that was super weird. And then, like, there's a bunch of weird shit this week. Oh, New York City was talking about fucking a nuke threat or some shit. I really wonder what was up with the fucking Georgia Guidestones thing because it's like super weird that it got blown up, and even weirder that like the feds swept it under the rug in like 2 minutes. It's almost like they planned some sort of false flag and nothing else happened that was supposed to happen. Georgia Guidestones are part of the Gun Apostle Pilgrimage. I don't know what that means. This is thrilling radio. I mean, seriously though, like I think it's odd that Putin, no, not Putin, that Biden is going to the Middle East and negotiating with all these religious leaders at the same time that those get blown up. Like, I don't know. It's weird. The whole world's been weird for a while though. And like I think my prediction that Donald Trump gets reelected in 2024 is looking really, really good to be honest. I don't know how Biden gets reelected for damn sure. If does get reelected, I don't think anyone will ever take an election seriously in this country ever again. Phase two starvation inflation. Maybe. Honestly, I think they have bucked that horse about as far as they're going to buck it. And right now they're trying to figure out how they're going to calm this shitstorm back down, or we're going to have a world war before that happens. Those are like the roads forward, I think. I see. So, guy that comments, you didn't even hear that the Georgia Guidestones got blown up? That's concerning. Possible railway strike come Monday. I think there's going to be a lot of strikes. I think the people that work for a living are tired of the shit. And like you can feel it in the streets or something. There's something eerie going on. Maybe that's just me. The one that I'm waiting for is at some point somebody has to do the shit that keeps like the airplanes running and everything involving that. And those people are not happy right now. There's no way that that keeps going with them being this unhappy. And that's a powerful union that I've never heard anyone really talk about. Is maybe it's just around here that it's powerful, but at least in northeastern Oklahoma, the United Airline Workers is a huge fucking union, and they could pretty much shut down air travel. There's certain shit that has to be done on airplanes. You know, same thing for the truckers, same thing for everybody else. We don't want no guide stones. I don't know what that means. Honestly, I think if God was walking the earth right now, he probably would have struck down those uh, guide stones with a lightning bolt. But I don't know. Like it's one of those things. I don't know who put those up. I think it's weird as fuck that like no one even knows. Well, that's the whole deist thing, right? Smoke. God can't intervene, right? You can make nudges here. That's what the deists believe, and they founded our country. Is basically that like the universe is a clock, and God is the clockmaker. He knows things about the clock. He might even be able to set its different settings or do things to it, but he can't just, make one of the gears change from one thing into another or whatever. Well, smoke. Satan is very misunderstood, first off. I mean, like some things are like a total accident. Some things are because she's ditzy. Like I'm pretty sure Satan is a woman. In case that's not clear. Pretty sure God's a woman. I think that's the big joke of all of this. I think Satan and God are lesbian lovers, and everything that happens here on Earth is a direct result of their quarrelsome marriage. That's why, like, Jesus is like the son that they gave all the attention to, and like the Antichrist is like the kid they didn't give any attention to or something. Now he's coming to destroy the world. Not buying that. Okay, we'll keep thinking. I'm eventually going to start my own. I hate to say cult, but cult. Because, like, I think all religions are cults and all cults are religions. We're just going to make sure it has Jesus in it so they can't call it a cult. And that smoke, I am the devil. That was the point of the religion I made the other night. It's really fun playing the devil. They call me Lucifer. Why do you think Yuval Noah Harari is the devil? Is anyone here besides Smoke? Testing. Testing. Is this thing on? Hmm. My thing is, what if the Antichrist did come back now? Like Satan came to walk the earth now, and he was sent by God to destroy the planet, right? And he decided, I kind of like it here. I think that's kind of where we're at. I think God sent the destroyer the other night, and for whatever reason, they decided to sit down and like chill. Choose the form of your destroyer. Ray, what did you think of? I couldn't help it. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Dear sweet Jesus. Anonymous. Anonymous was there for most of my crazy ramblings. I seriously want to start a religion now. If for nothing else, like the taxes, but it seems like the way to go. I also think I figured out where the you know those like pallets of bricks and shit that just showed up at places where protesters were? I think I know who sent those, but I'm afraid to say it on the internet. It could be just coincidence. I mean, smoke, they do know where to get bricks. I wonder who actually runs the world because at this point, like, I don't think it's a debate. There is some sort of secret cabal Illuminati bullshit. Like, is it just like the CIA and like the king of Saudi Arabia and Putin, like in a room going, over a globe, or is it like more complicated than that? The brick industrial complex. That's good. Follow the money. If you follow the money on anything, it all leads back to the banks. Like, I accept that answer, but at the same time, I don't, because I think like one of the biggest lies that they've convinced people is that like magic and shit back in the day wasn't real. And it's not that it's real, but I think like the power of belief is real, and you can do some crazy ass shit if you believe it. And I think there's been more than a time or two where somebody like me who knew that secret of the universe got in front of a whole bunch of people and pulled some bullshit out of a fucking hat. And that's why we have these like stories throughout history of random ass craziness. Exactly, smoke. Like there's something to it, and like the especially like the demonology and shit when you look into that shit, it all comes from King Solomon, which is interesting. It's a very interesting person to have written the whole book of witchcraft. I'm preparing to fight forces that are beyond your kin. I love George Carlin's thoughts on religion. They mirror much my own. Basically, it's all bullshit to some extent. See, gnomes are real, but they're very misunderstood. Like, take Duke. Duke is a gnome. He goes out, he does his gnome stuff, then he goes home to his gnome wife and raises little gnome babies. Yeah, see, this is the thing is, it's exactly what the comment says. The banks don't want to go bankrupt. They blame them for trying to put everything and everyone in debt. So someone somewhere has figured out that if someone owes you money, that they have at least imaginary control over that person, right? And this system has just like gone awry in the United States. I don't fully even understand who chases the carrot anymore. And like that's what we've developed in this country is like it's always carrot or stick, right? Well, the stick has been retired and the carrot has been replaced with like some piece of mush. And with the way things are headed, it's about to be all stick for a while. I would prepare to get hit with a stick, I guess. See, that's exactly right, Smoke. That's where we're headed is we have this unpayable debt, right? What do you do as an like let's say this is the old west and the banker has the mortgage on your home and you owe him $85 million, but he also goes out to water his horses every day 20 miles from town in bear country or some shit like that. What you gonna do? That's the situation the United States is in right now. We can either put foot to ass and pay our debts, or we can go under. And like the people that are pretending like we can't go to war are sadly naive. Like at this point, war is inevitable. I thought war was inevitable in like 2008. So, like, why have I been preparing? Why have I been learning about guns? Why have I been learning, forging? Why have I been whatever I've been doing for the last 20 years? I really thought this was coming, and it looks like it's coming within the next couple of years. Prepare that and smoke the crown. The crown is an interesting topic, isn't it? Who exactly is the crown? Because I think the crown that sits on the throne in England, I think it's a fake crown. It's like the Rick and Morty episode where they had all the duplicate families. If you really were the king of, you know, England and the world, why would you sit right there? You have your decoy doing that. Like you would actually be somewhere else. To be honest, I think it's already the prince that went to Canada. I think he's probably running shit already. Like maybe I just like woefully overestimate the power of aristocracy and nobility still, but it seems that they have a weird pull over people. This is why I wish the rest of the country would catch up to this whole, I don't know, let's just hang all the monarchs thing that like I still have from the 1700s somehow, but no one else does. I think I watched The Patriot too many times. Well, Romanian dragons are just people. So that's where you get the story of Dracula and all that shit. He's a dragon. A dragon is just a very rich, powerful old man that hoards all his shit. Okay? The dragon's power is not in its ability to fucking breathe fire and do all this shit. Like a lot of medieval stories are metaphors. Like a unicorn is like a 13th century penis joke. There's a whole lot of that like the level to which you can understand some stories if you want to is pretty high in detail. Some of it's meaningless and useless, but some of it completely changes the nature of some of the stories. Guy that comments you're a fan of bread and circuses. Okay. I don't care anymore. Like they can make their shit, they can not make their shit. Uh, if all I had was Star Trek and Beverly Hillbillies and MASH on DVD for the rest of my life at this point, I think I'd be okay with it because, like, I don't really care to watch shit anymore. And that's like half of my thing is if I am watching something, it's usually the news. That's half my problem. I need to find something to do besides that. Have you never been to a circus? I mean, like, I thought that they had those everywhere. Really, you didn't miss out on much. It's like a bunch of like pedophiles in makeup abusing elephants. Yep. Suicide is painless. It's the name of the song in MASH. I always loved that show. It has this dark sense of humor that I like. Hogan's Heroes is great too. I'm a fan of Hawkeye. Let's put it that way. Major Houlihan is awesome. Like I could go on about Major Houlihan for a while, to be honest. Honestly, Klinger always made me feel a little bit better about being me. They were kind of making fun of it, but at the same time, like, I don't know. And Klinger was fucking hilarious. My favorite one was when he tried to escape Korea by building a hang glider. He had like bunny slippers on. That and there's an episode of that that was 5 o'clock Charlie, where this North Korean pilot flew by every day at 5 o'clock and dropped one bomb and left. And they started taking bets on whether or not he could hit the camp or some shit. I love that show. I've started watching the newest season of Stranger Things, and I'm not impressed. I'm just finished episode 2, and it's really I don't know. It's lackluster. I don't know if it's because they split them all up or if it's what's the deal with it, but it's weird. I think they killed that show. It was one of those that I think that show would have been best if they had just ended after 2 seasons. I think the kids are getting too old to really do it. And it's like the first season of that, I think, was the best. Yeah, I never got into Cobra Kai or whatever that is. The can't think of the name of the movie now. Karate Kid, is the name of it? I made the best, most awesome weapons light ever. It's a C-cell mag light that's hose clamped to an ACOG mount. It weighs like 2 pounds, but it actually holds like a constant beam at like, I don't know, it's probably 100 yards away that it was still illuminating. And my Surefire lights were not going anywhere near as far as it was. It's like the best, worst light ever. There's a new Resident Evil series on Netflix that isn't awful. I don't do Resident Evil usually. To be honest, that's one of those things that I didn't like before that my girlfriend really, really loved and made me watch a whole bunch of, and now I really hate. So it's one of those like, yeah, no thanks. But that's not a issue with Resident Evil. It's more my issue, eh? Oh, I doubt I'll get swatted. No. Probably shouldn't do any more live chats as the Antichrist landed back on Earth for the first night, though. It's still fun as shit. I like playing characters. If you really want to have fun playing a character, play the devil. You get to do whatever you want. China Beach. What's that? Zombie caterpillar. Well, seems like I'm running out of things to talk about, and the chat's kind of dying. I still can't believe some of you didn't hear that the Georgia Guidestones got blown up, or that the FBI very quickly like swept away all the evidence. Like it was super weird. Oh, I love Big Trouble in Little China. That's a hilarious movie. Anything with what's his name, Kurt Russell, and the director of Big Trouble in Little China, and Carpenter, John Carpenter. Anything with John Carpenter directing with Kurt Russell starring, that's good. Guy that comments right, like it's so weird being on the right side of history. I could have been such a power player if I was on the wrong side. A nice career and everything. I had several opportunities along the way to be like, oh, okay, I can just be a Nazi and make lots of money. It sucks having principles. Diplomatic immunity. Funny part is, currently, I think I would be very difficult to track down. It's one of those like they got your address, 1060 West Addison. One of those kind of deals. Did anyone else have a real crazy week, or was it just me? Big Trouble was a fantasy western. I could see that because like the Asian elements of it, like in some Western movies, you'll have like Chinatowns or something like that. Even like Tombstone, he's smoking opium with people there or something, right? So like if you leaned into the Asian element a little bit and then placed it in the 80s, I can see that. Like was normal and hot. Set up an intercom and have backups to your generator for your compounds. Voice make it cell towers and internet. I don't even have a compound. Uh, See, that's the unfortunate part about not actually planning to do anything. Like, I really just like talking to you guys, and I really do want to start a cult, or excuse me, religion. See, I think if I do get some land with a buddy of mine, he wants to like have 5 acres with a house and a farm, and I want to have a few acres to do whatever I'm going to do with it, and I'm going to build like Sauron's tower because like that seems like the most efficient use of 2 acres. Well, I thought the Sauron thing was hilarious. Apparently, no one else does. That's what I've decided here lately is that like I'm now engaging in a wizard fight with I don't know whoever is doing that on the other side, like the Pope and like the King of Saudi Arabia. Like I'm just gonna go wooloo a lot and like shake a stick in the air. We're having a holy war. This is totally the angle to go at this at. I need to like get rid of all of the gun content and just make this thing a preaching channel where I like wear some crazy robe and have a wizard stick and like declare war on Saudi Arabia and go woo. Once you do that, like you can say anything you fucking wanted, pretty much. Like, not to mention if most of the people following it know it's like a joke. If most of the people following it seriously believe that you're like engaging in a wizard fight with Saudi Arabian princes, I guess that's just job well done, boys. Like this is my thing is I really have such a contempt for religion and yet a love for it that I would like to put a message out there that's like, hey man, love one, while at the same time taking followers away from these fucking creeps and pedophiles and I don't know what else. See, smoke, you get it. Like you need a scepter and a cape. Like you're gonna have to have some pageantry with this. We need to sell it. You can't sell it. Like, there's no point in doing a fake. I don't know what this is. Sect of Christianity? Because it would have to be, because this is America. I said something negative about Jesus on Instagram today and lost a friend. In reality, I dig Jesus. I just think that, like, there's more to the story. There's a considerable bit more to the story. Basically, your Bible was written by people that escaped one Bronze Age civilization and didn't even know about 20 others. Like, I don't know. You can go find stuff older than the Bible to read about. So I'm going to say about that. Fit in some meth, grenade addicted, ginseng hunting tigers. See, like, ginseng is the shit, by the way. Uh, I don't know if what I'm taking is technically the real ginseng, or this is dong guai, which is a different form of ginseng. It's dope. If it, I would highly recommend whatever form of ginseng you can get for your meth addicted tigers, or whatever that comment was about. Don't do meth, kids. Okay, it's bad. To quote Joe Exotic, it'll make your teeth fall out. He would know. My thing is, if Russia is having crazy religious motivations for what it's doing, and like the Middle East is the Middle East, like I don't even need to say anything more about that. I think we could have our own cult, boys. Like, see, Anonymous knows more about my new religion than most people. He was there when Satan himself landed. And I think this is the key of like Scientology. They just made up some bullshit, and then they convinced a very small group of people to believe in the spreading of the low levels of that bullshit. And then they spread a bunch of the low level shit out. And then they didn't tell you any of the crazy shit, like the fact that your religion is based on Rick and Morty or whatever the fuck it is. Like the fact that there's Zatans in Scientology or whatever. You can go read into that, read into what the Scientologists believe. But once you get up to the upper levels of that and you've paid in hundreds of thousands of dollars into the cult, that's when they tell you the crazy alien shit. That's what I'm proposing. We form a cult here where, like, we are those people that go out and start the initial spreading of the low level bullshit, and we hook in some celebrities into this shit and, like, convince them that the magic credit card machine fucking gets them to heaven or whatever the fuck it is that the Scientologists say. If Tom Cruise can do this to people, so can we. That's all I'm saying, boys. Texlahoma or Oklahoma, Texas. I was thinking like, I don't know. We should come up with a name for the red states when they separate from America. I don't know. I have to put some thought into that. I mean, my like gut instinct is Nova Scotia, but that one's taken. Free states and slave states. That's pretty much the gist of it. Oh, that would be hilarious. I should paint a flag on the top of my car. Get some blue and white spray paint and do a Scottish flag up there. I don't know if it's going to come to a civil war, but it certainly seems like it's headed that way. I don't know if tigers would be very good at hunting ginseng, Anonymous. I think I think them being cats would get in the way. Well, this is coming up on an hour of this bullshit now. I think I'm gonna cut it off when we get there. Should I paint a flag on the top of the car? If so, which flag should I paint? To me, the flag of Scotland is really easy to paint. That's my go-to. But I really want like a General Lee joke now. Have to get like some roll-on paint or something to do that, probably. Yeah, guy that comments, if we do have a civil war, I don't know how anyone thinks that's going to go down. Like, honestly, I don't know that there would be any shooting. I think all the people that would shoot anyone are all on one side. Might be wrong. Yeah, that may be a really short war. With the way that they're heading with the country, I can't imagine I'm the only one thinking, you know, there's no future in the United States as a whole. The thing I think is really funny is as soon as big tech stops making money and Hollywood stops making money in California, which would happen basically if World War III started, those places are going to become ghost towns. It's like the only thing keeping people there at all right now is that they have family there and want to live there, or those industries. And like without the level of income from those industries, how many people are really going to stay in California? I imagine that they would find ways to make money during a war, though. I do think it's interesting that everyone went out and bought guns over the last couple of years. I think that's one of the things that's going to keep the peace in a way. Like, how many people are going to go out and start shit after the things they've seen in the last year or two? Fucking Georgia Guidestones. Still weird as fuck. Let's talk about guns before we go. So, someone said that Savage is now making a 20 round mag for the Model 64. Is that true? Let's look that up. What the fuck? Savage 64. Is precision? 22. 20 round mag. I don't see any such magazine. Have you guys heard of such a thing? Someone mentioned it in the comments a while back. And I haven't been able to find it. Oh, well, that's an hour. I'm going to cut this off here. Hope you guys enjoyed Saturday Night Live or whatever the fuck this is. See you later.